months ago on the show, attorney Jim Higgins talked about how a Chattanooga circuit judge ruled Tennessee's $750,000 damage cap as unconstitutional. Well, there has been some conflict over the topic, so Jim Higgins stopped by to give us an update. Take a look. Jim, great to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk about the current status of tort reform here in Tennessee. What is the latest?
Well, you know, a few years ago, our legislature passed some new laws, and among them were a law that said, hey, no matter what your damages are, non-economic damages, you know, for loss of a life, or pain and suffering, for, you know, if horrific injuries, the cap's going to be $750,000 no matter what a jury says.
Right.
And we had a court in Chattanooga a few months ago that issue came before him, and the judge found that that law was unconstitutional. You know, our Constitution in Tennessee says you've got a right to a jury trial, and that means your peers, you know, people that live in Tennessee, people that work in Tennessee. Our Constitution says those are the people who should come in and say, this is what we think your case is worth. Yeah. And since the legislature had put that cap on them of $750,000, this judge says, hey, they're not really deciding that case. The legislature is, and it's for our people.
Right.
That case was appealed. It went to the Supreme Court, and what the Supreme Court has done is they've reversed that judge, but kind of only temporarily. The judge made that decision while the case was still pending, because the people had asked for more than the cap. And the Supreme Court says, hey, it's not ready yet. We're going to have a jury actually decide a case. That case, in that case they find there's damages over $750,000, then you send that back up to us and we'll decide whether this law is constitutional. So it's still kind of up in the air. Right now, tort reform's here. And someday the Supreme Court's going to have to decide it. I wish they would have, because it impacts every case, but they haven't yet.
Interesting. So has it impacted your clients yet? Have you seen anything?
Yeah, I mean, when tort reform did, you know, my office, the way we're set up is we handle what I call a lot of high damage cases. I mean, really tragic cases. They may be nursing home neglect cases, or, you know, we've had a case I just finished where a man lost his wife to a drunk driver. I mean, just tough things. So those kind of cases are impacted by this tort reform, because I'll be honest, I think the losses that I see are worth more than $750,000.
Right.
But when that cap is there and I'm negotiating with the lawyers, or we're going through that lawsuit with the lawyers who are representing the drunk driver, they know they're protected by that cap. So it is very hard to deal with those high damage cases, because they're not going to offer more than they're legally obligated to pay, and that can be really hard for my clients to understand.
Absolutely,
and me.
Definitely. So when do you think this case will be resolved? Do you know, and what do you think will happen?
Well, there's going to have to be a verdict. Those big seven-figure verdicts are few and far between in Tennessee, so it'll probably be a couple of years after that verdict comes down. There's a few cases in the pipeline that I think will probably head up there that will be a good case for it. So probably about 2 years.
All right, we'll wait and see. Jim, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Ave Higgins Firm is serving Tennessee. Give them a call at 1-800-705-2121. You can also visit their website. That's thehigginsfirm.com.